All right, so what's about to happen is whenever the light turns red again, we're going to take the banners and we're going to block the street right here. And then we'll start to speak out. So if you want to speak, be ready because it's going to be quick.
So which way are we going to face?
I think we should face that way towards the track.
Face that way.
You're about to
And which
speak out,
one
right?
is,
We're second.
this is New York didn't cancel Cuomo, right? So this is number one.
Yeah. So this one will go and then that one turns this way.
I don't know if we should take No.
So you guys come
Good.
on.
I don't want to be here.
Yeah, Cuomo, you should quit.
New York needs new leadership.
Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership.
Andrew Cuomo, you should quit.
New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit.
New York needs new leadership.
Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. Tax the rich, house the rich. Tax the rich, house the poor. 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 And if we don't get it, shut it down. And if we don't get it, shut it down. And if we don't get it, shut it down. And if we don't get it, shut it down. And if we don't get it, shut it down. And if we don't get it, shut it down. We are here. We are here. We are here. We are here. Outside. Outside. Governor Cuomo's office. Office. Governor Cuomo. Governor Cuomo has failed. Has failed. New York. New York. Governor Cuomo. Governor Cuomo is accused. Is accused of sexual. Of sexual. Violence. Violence. Violating. Violating. Over 5 women. Over 5 women. Sexually. Sexually. But we know. But we know. Governor Cuomo. Governor Cuomo violates. Violates. Millions. Millions. Through public policy. Through public policy. We're here. We're here. In the name. In the name. Of 92,000. Of 92,000. Homeless New Yorkers. Homeless New Yorkers. We are here. We are here. In the names. In the name. Of thousands. Of thousands. Of overdose deaths. Of overdose deaths. We are here. We are here. To pass. To pass. A New York State budget. A New York State budget. For poor. For poor. And working. And working. Families. Families. Across our state. Across our state. Governor Cuomo. Governor Cuomo. His leadership. His leadership. leadership
has failed.
has failed.
His leadership
His leadership
has failed.
has failed.
He no longer
He no longer
can represent
can represent
New Yorkers.
New Yorkers.
He has shown us
He has shown us
for 10 years
for 10 years
his priorities.
his priorities.
He wants
He wants
to pass
to pass
an austerity budget.
an austerity budget.
He wants
He wants
to cut
to cut
services
services
and funding
and funding
for poor people.
for poor people.
He wants
He wants
to lie
lie
and politic
politics
in our names
in our name
and not serve us.
and not serve us.
So we're out here
So we are here
to demand that he step back
step back
from leadership.
from leadership.
And that Assembly Speaker
That
Hastings,
Assembly Speaker Hastings,
that Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins,
the Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins,
that they pass a budget
that they pass a budget
that is conscientious.
that is conscientious.
That they pass a budget
They pass a budget
rooted in love,
rooted in love,
care,
care,
compassion.
compassion.
We want to see a budget
We want to see a budget
to end homelessness.
to end homelessness.
We need $500 million
We need $500 million
for the Housing Access Voucher Program.
for the Housing Access Voucher Program.
$500 million
$500 million
to house our homeless.
to house our homeless.
We need a budget
We need a budget
that's going to fund
that's going to fund
universal medication,
universal medication,
assisted treatment
assisted treatment
to prevent
to prevent
overdose deaths.
overdose deaths.
We need a budget
We need a budget
that's going to remember
that's going to remember
our people suffering
our people suffering
in jails and prisons.
in jails and prisons.
Governor Cuomo
Governor Cuomo
cannot do that.
cannot do that.
So we need the Assembly,
We need the Assembly.
we need the Senate
We need the Senate
to speak for New
to
Yorkers.
speak for New Yorkers.
Because if they don't,
Because if they don't, if they don't,
we are slated
we are slated
to see an explosion
to see an explosion
in new homelessness,
in new homelessness,
to see an explosion
to see an explosion
in new overdose deaths.
in new overdose deaths.
And let me speak a second for myself. Governor Cuomo, we have come here year after year and asked you, appealed to your moral clarity. But we are starting to see, as the whole state, as the whole country is seeing, that the governor is corrupt, that the governor is affected by problematic white supremacist, patriarchal violence. These women have had the courage to speak up, not just for themselves, but for vulnerable people. And this man refused to step down. Andrea Stewart Cousins, a black woman, called him to resign, and he ignored her. He is using his power in abusive ways, and as a representative of thousands of vulnerable New Yorkers in New York City, in Albany, in Westchester County, in Rochester, in Buffalo, in Syracuse, we have come year after year outside this man's office, respectfully asking for him to pass a budget in our names in a way that appeals to our morality as a state, to pass a budget that is rooted in morality, because budgets are moral documents. They represent what the state cares about. And every year, year after year, Governor Cuomo uses abject power, totalitarian leadership, anti-democratic practices to pass budgets in the name of billionaires and millionaires. So we are here representing the Invest in Our New York Act to pass the 6 bills that will generate $50 billion every year in new revenue in New York State. And most New Yorkers, if you're watching this video, we're not talking about you. We're talking about billionaires. We're talking about millionaires, ultra millionaires, people that don't go to work, people that don't try every day, that don't fight every day to feed their children. They don't fight every day to get their kids the help that they need. They don't fight every day to remain housed. These folks, their money works for them and they do nothing while we suffer. And they generate that wealth in our names. And we're here today to demand that we take that back.
Yes. Take that back.
Is Luis here?
Take that back. Take that back. Take that back.
I want to bring up Luis to address us in Espanol.
Buenos días.
Buenos días, amigo.
Bueno, el pedazo de mierda de nuestro gobernador durante los últimos 10 años, el tiempo que no se le ha pasado haciéndole bullying a la gente que está debajo de él, abusando y asaltando a las mujeres que trabajan para él, lo ha pasado bajándole los impuestos a los ricos, a sus amigos, a los que tienen private jets, a los que tienen yates, y diciéndonos que eso supuestamente va a ayudar a la economía. Eso es una mentira. A la economía le ayuda el ayudar a la gente que no tiene hogar, que es lo que estamos aquí intentando hacer que suceda. Queremos que se les suban los impuestos a los ricos, que este liderazgo fallido de Cuomo cambie completamente. Queremos que se acabe la crisis de sobredosis que hay aquí en nuestra ciudad. Eso es muy fácil. Nueva York tiene una economía muy fuerte, comparable a la de Canadá, a la de Italia, y sé que podemos usar los impuestos para dar educación, dar vivienda, y queremos lograr eso. Por eso estamos pidiéndole a Hastings, a Stuart Cousins y a Cuomo que pueden hacer mucho mejor por nuestra ciudad, y estamos aquí convocando a Nueva York. Muchas gracias. Hasta la victoria siempre.
Before I bring up another person, I want to say that Governor Cuomo has suggested that we, the left, the woke people, have tried to cancel him. But we're here to remind everybody that New York did not cancel Governor Cuomo. Right. Governor Cuomo canceled New York. Right. Governor Cuomo canceled nursing home death data. Right. Governor Cuomo canceled 92,000 people experiencing homelessness. Right. Governor Cuomo canceled thousands of people to overdose. Right. And Governor Cuomo every single day cancels thousands, hundreds, many people to solitary confinement in our state.
That ain't right.
Hey, what's your name, man?
My name's Juwanza James Williams. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm director of organizing at Vocal New York.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here. I'm the mother of a man that has been in solitary confinement for 27 years.
That ain't right.
Okay? He is now on a website that his sister created, a pod site called Without Conviction. There is case after case of men being convicted of crimes that they are not guilty of.
That ain't
We
right.
have a correction department that is being fed by Governor Cuomo. That's one of the reasons why this continues. The whole solitary bill has not been passed for 8 years. People are in prison that need mental facilities to be helped. As a girl, I was raised in this city. I remember mental institutions for people that had sickness. All the people that are homeless that have mental problems were taken care of. And then suddenly, because of these corrupt politicians, they were put onto the streets. It is cruel. It is inhuman. Cuomo must go.
Cuomo must go.
Now.
Now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Patriarch. Cuomo must leadership. Leadership. New York leadership. New York leadership.
Hi guys, thank you for tuning in. We are in New York City in front of Governor Cuomo's office on 3rd Avenue. This is a group called Vocal New York. Let me see if I can speak to somebody.
You should quit.
Yep. Can I ask you a couple questions? I'm live right now. No?
Sorry,
Okay.
New leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. New York needs new leadership. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit. Andrew Cuomo, you should quit.
Andrew Cuomo, you should quit!
How you doing?
Hey.
My name's John. I'm live right now on Status Coup.
Okay. All right.
If you could just tell me, we know most Americans are just finding out about the corruption Governor Cuomo had for years. You know, he's always been geared towards helping his donors or the wealthy. Can you talk about the attacks on you know, poor New Yorkers and you know, other people who need help?
Yeah, happy to. You know, every time, right now, the state of New York is facing a deficit. And Cuomo's response is to cut social services, to cut, you know, to cut things that, basic services for people that can, you know, lift people out of poverty, help people with health insurance. He's cut Medicaid, including, you know, a lot of hospital beds had to be cut before the COVID crisis. Who knows, maybe those wouldn't be useful during the pandemic. And he cuts taxes for the rich. He's made New York State the most unequal state in the union. That's a fact. And this is an extremely failed leadership. Overdose and homelessness at an all-time high during the leadership of Cuomo. And what we are advocating for is definitely getting rid of Cuomo. He is a complete sold out. We have no use for him. He's abusive. And we want to raise taxes on some of the richest New Yorkers because people can pitch in. Right now we have a regressive tax system that makes folks like making around $50,000 and people making like $1 million paying around the same rate of taxes. That's wrong. That's regressive. We want to make it progressive. We think people can, a lot of the folks, the very wealthy folks that we work for here in this state can you know, chip in a hell of a lot more to help us out. So yeah.
Let me get this. I want to. I'll come back.
Accusations from women.
Accusations from women!
Cuomo tried to cancel Ron Kim.
To cancel Ron Kim!
New York didn't cancel Cuomo.
New York didn't cancel Cuomo!
Cuomo canceled New York.
Cuomo canceled New York!
Cuomo has canceled important policies, life-saving policies to end overdose, to end homelessness, to fund New York, to bail out New York. He canceled these policies with his power. He canceled these policies with his veto. Governor Cuomo is a bully. Governor Cuomo only wants power. Governor Cuomo doesn't care about justice, about equity, about compassion, about love. Governor Cuomo doesn't care about you. Governor Cuomo doesn't care about those nursing home deaths, about those women. Governor Cuomo cares about himself. Governor Cuomo has canceled one thing. Taxes on the rich. Governor Cuomo doesn't care about New York. New York needs new leadership. New York needs
This woman's really reckless.
New York needs new leadership. New leadership. New York needs a bailout. New York needs
Vix explains it.
Assembly and Senate to step up, to take action, to take charge, to tell Governor Cuomo to step back, to step back. We need new leadership now. We need new leadership now. We need new leadership now.
All right, next I'm going to bring up two of our leaders, Althea Matthews and Flowers Adesagan.
So police are gathering here. A lot of police activity now.
I'm here on behalf of both of New York and on behalf of New York City and New York State. Governor Cuomo, for 10 years we've been coming to this office. It's time for him to do something for New York. We need to tax the billionaires. We have over 100 million billionaires here. And 120 billionaires here, and they need to pay that fair tax. We have 3 bills that need to be passed. That's for the high income, for the wealth, and for the business. And they need to be taxed accordingly to their income. These bills will provide services to the homeless as well for the overdose crisis that we have for the MAT in the prison system, just overall to service the people because our budget is low. And if you tax that money from the rich, we can provide the services that we need for New York State. That's right. We need Governor Cuomo to tax, to do the right thing for New York State. Thank you.
No charges will be placed against you.
We want Governor Cuomo to tax the rich. We want Governor Cuomo to tax the rich. We want the people demand that everyone pay their
sidewalk. If you do so voluntarily, no charges will be placed against you. If you remain in the roadway and refuse to utilize the sidewalk, you will be placed under arrest and charged with disorderly conduct.
to have firemen, to have street lights, to have schools, to have
You are ordered to leave the roadway and utilize the available sidewalk. If you do so voluntarily, no charges will be placed against you. If you remain in the roadway and refuse to utilize the sidewalk, you will be placed under arrest and charged with disorderly conduct. This is the New York City Police Department. You are unlawfully in the roadway and obstructing vehicular traffic.
because they get a
You are ordered to
100%
leave the roadway and
rebate.
utilize the
This is
available
wrong.
sidewalk.
It's wrong.
Every
If you
stock
do so
exchange in the
voluntarily,
world,
no
you
charges
pay
will
to
be
do
placed
business,
against you.
except New
If you
York.
remain in the
Because some
roadway and
rich,
refuse to
corrupt
utilize the sidewalk,
politicians
you will be
changed
placed
that
under arrest
law
and
to
charged
give
with
them
disorderly
100%
conduct.
rebate.
This is the
Pay
New York
that
City
tear.
Police Department.
You have houses here and houses there. You pay a tax.
That's
For
right.
the infrastructure of that place. Not here. The corrupt politicians took that tax away. We want our tax laws rebuilt to help everyone, and we stop carrying the rich on our back.
That's right.
We are tired of paying for you. Well, did Trump pay $750 in income tax for 2 years? The shoeshine boy pays more than that. This is crazy. We have got to stop this corruption and make it right for the people.
right.
Because the people united will never be defeated.
The
people
people
united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united will never be defeated.
People united will never be defeated.
Mind if I ask you a couple questions? Okay, so we know. Sorry. Yeah. No, we know. These allegations of sexual harassment are very concerning. Now, why do you think the media is not as outraged about the nursing home deaths and the alleged cover-up and all the other corruption from Governor Cuomo?
I mean, it makes sense that in this moment the media is focused on sexual harassment complaints of women. So we understand that. What we need is to ensure that they also pay attention to nursing home deaths and, frankly, a long history of abuse this governor has made. So we would agree with the media. They should focus on the harms the governor commits on people as individuals. We also need to focus on the harms he commits to entire communities. Both are important, and frankly, both show what kind of leader he is. A leader who abuses people individually and personally and abuses whole communities.
The available sidewalk. If you do so voluntarily, no charges will be placed against you.
You guys gotta stay here, right?
If you remain in the roadway and refuse to utilize the sidewalk, you will be placed under arrest and charged with disorderly conduct.
No. We are here!
This is the New York City Police Department. You are unlawfully in the roadway and obstructing vehicular traffic. You are ordered to leave the roadway and utilize the available sidewalk. If you do so voluntarily, no charges will be placed against you. If you remain in the roadway and refuse to utilize the sidewalk, you will be placed under arrest and charged with disorderly conduct.
Come on, folks, on the sidewalk. Okay, you've been warned. Yeah, I heard you.
Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will be placed under arrest on the charge of disorderly conduct. If you do not cooperate and accompany the arresting officer to the prisoner transport vehicle, or...
All right, so I just got threatened with arrest. Excuse me?
Uncle, we got you.
Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will be placed under arrest on the charge of disorderly conduct. If you do not cooperate and accompany the arresting officer to the prisoner transport vehicle, or if you resist arrest, you may be charged with additional crimes.
They're getting arrested because we're fighting for homelessness. They're getting arrested.
Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will be placed under arrest on the charge of disorderly conduct. If you do not cooperate and accompany the arresting officer to the prisoner transport vehicle, or if you resist arrest, you may be charged with additional crimes. Since you have refused to leave the roadway, you will be placed under arrest on the charge of disorderly conduct. If you do not cooperate and accompany the arresting officer to the prisoner transport vehicle, or if you resist arrest, you may be charged with additional crimes.
Everybody on the sidewalk. Not everybody.
Please just let me do my job. Please.
Guys, on the sidewalk.
You can do it from the sidewalk.
I can't see
from the sidewalk. Thank you.
Please, guys, let me do my job. I understand you're trying to do your job.
Defund! Invest!
They're getting arrested because they're fighting homelessness in this city. 90,000 homeless in this city. You see them? They're sitting on the streets. There's no place to go. They're getting arrested because...
They was not fucking.
We deserve better than Cuomo. Carl Heastie, you're next.
Go ahead.
Andrea Stewart Cousins is calling for Cuomo to resign. That's why these people are getting arrested. They're getting arrested because they're righteous people. Cuomo, you need to go. They're getting arrested because there's a decent plan to get rid of homelessness.
Arresting innocent people. Arrest Cuomo.
These are righteous people getting arrested because they're
I didn't get to count how many arrests there were. If anything, I would say possibly 10.
fucking pandemic. Billionaires got $87 billion richer in a fucking pandemic. What? New York State deserves better than this. We're better than this. That's why these people are getting arrested. We'll be out. We'll be back. We're not going anywhere. We're going to bring more people because the people united can't be divided. We're going to get this.
United can never be defeated.
Carl Heastie.
United can never be defeated. The people united can never be defeated.
Carl Heastie, we're coming
Arrest
for you
Cuomo.
next. Andrea Stewart Cousins, we're coming for you next. If you're calling for Cuomo to resign, make that man resign. Resign! Resign! Luckily, we're out here. We'll be back.
Arresting
We will
innocent
be
people.
back.
That's a disgrace.
We'll be back.
What a disgrace.
Governor Cuomo signed those clemencies. You're a bully. You're obsessed with power. You got a problem.
It's okay to molest and rape girls, women, but yeah.
What is it?
What's your last name again? L-Y-L-E, Kip Lyle.
These people are getting processed because they're fighting homelessness. 92,000 homelessness, you see it.
Guys, do me
You
favor,
look
get
at
on
them
the
with
sidewalk,
disdain,
please.
but there's
On the
no
sidewalk.
way
Thank you.
that people are going to make that happen.
Ma'am, just get on the sidewalk, please. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Why don't you arrest Cuomo?
Cuomo, you gotta go. It's a disgrace. New York State deserves better than this. We'll be back. We'll be back.
And if that person is not doing their job, one is
Excuse me, do you have the sign with the people's budget? Yeah. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? About the people's budget?
Oh yeah, well obviously there's been problems before with the budget before, and the budget is a moral document, and it's just being exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. So we need to invest in healthcare for New Yorkers. I mean, locally, I prefer at a national level, but housing for homelessness, because we're about to have a potential homelessness crisis if New Yorkers don't take a stand. And Cuomo could do it, but now we need the Assembly and the Senate. And if you want more information, look into Vocal New York.
Cool, thank you.
Thank you.
Don, you want to say something?
Yeah.
Hey. So, if you want, speak to me about the attacks on the working class and poor New Yorkers.
Well, here's the thing. For over 32 years, the New York State Legislature, the Senate to be exact, were in control. And the Democrats hewed and hawed and cried about getting power and all the promises that they were going to make when they get power. They now have that power, and since they've been in power and they control both houses, the Assembly and the Senate in the state of New York, they have done nothing. Okay, people are homeless, people are starving, while they enrich themselves, profiteering. The governor himself is running a business with prison labor to sell his product and fill his bank account and coffers. People are starving out in the street, and it shouldn't be that way. This pandemic has brought about a disgusting margin profiteer for those that are in power, and they're letting the little people, us, that pay the bulk of the taxes, suffer. People are homeless, and in New York City right now, you got whole blocks that are empty apartments. People fled during COVID-19. These homeless people could be housed there. The government can take up and pay that bill to house these people there. They rather for them to be in the street, they rather to put them in prison so they could engage them in prison slave labor, and to continue this imperialistic, capitalistic profit margin, which is what it is, okay? And the governor is a part of it. The governor is the chief executive officer of this state. He is the governor, and he's a criminal right now. numerous sex allegations against him. This is going on for times. And has a record, and it's been proven by other media news outlets, that he doctored the book intentionally on nursing home deaths. They fudged the books. That's been proven. He should be prosecuted. That is a crime. Anytime you alter an official record, it is a crime in the state of New York under the penal law, though it may be a misdemeanor in punishment purposes, but it's a crime. Governor Cuomo committed the crime of altering official government documents.
Why do you think there isn't more of a media outrage?
There isn't more media outrage because the media is for the elite. The media and the police overall, if it don't be for your media brothers and sisters that come out, our people in the communities will never get the truth. The media, just like the police and all these authority bodies, are here not to protect us. They're here to protect the establishment of imperialist capitalism, the rich, not the poor. They profit off us. We are the majority being ruled by these minorities. So that's what's going on. The media is on their side. The media don't want to hear our point of view because they can't make a profit from it. But they can make a profit by backing the elite, rich politicians, the pharmaceuticals and so forth. That's what it's about. It's a money, okay? They rather make a profit than to save a life.
Sorry, can you step over here? I'm getting the sign.
And it's time that comes to an end. The Democrats are no better than the Republicans. We always must keep in mind that it was the Democrats that instituted and wanted to maintain the institution of slavery in America, not the Republicans. But the Republicans, they have just switched sides. But the mindset is the same. It hasn't went nowhere. The case of Dred Scott versus Sanford, where we considered 3/5 of a human, although it's dead letter law, we are still seen like that in the eyes of those in power, the minority that's in power. We're the majority. We can put them out of business any day. We pay their salary. We should put them out of business. They can't imprison the whole of America because then the government collapses. But we're tired of these profits. We're tired of homeless people. A homeless person right there on the street right now, right steps from us, living on the street in these elements when he can be housed in one of these empty buildings that's already furnished, that's vacant all over New York City. The shelters are discussed, and Cuomo doesn't care. Cuomo is making a profit off prison slave labor selling his COVID-19 products. They're manufacturing it. Yes, it's disgusting.
Talk to me a little bit about the proposed budget.
Well, the budget, another joke. The budget never trickles down to the people it's supposed to go to. Okay, so money from the federal level trickles down to the state. And the state is supposed to allocate these funds out to the people that most need it. What happens is, when the federal government trickles the money down to the state then trickle it down to what you call captains in these districts. And these are elite puppeteers. And they parcel out these funds based on favoritism and biasness to those that's going to support them and keep them in office and keep those that trickle the funds to them in office. So the funds never really reach the people it's supposed to reach. The poor people, like the gentleman up there on the sidewalk living there, the funds never reach him. And if there was an outlet for him to reach him, they do not give an outlet for him to go and receive them. He doesn't know where to go receive them. He's not even told where to go receive them. Okay, if they can send out the police to arrest peaceful protesters, why they can't send out a van to tell this man, here, this is where you go to get these funds that the government sent to get you off the street? They don't do that. That's where the funds are going. And the budget is a sham. It's always been a sham. And you're never going to get the truth about the budget. Never believe any government statistic about budgets or anything because they fudge the records. We know that. It's a history of that. So the money's not trickling down. The federal government says they send it. We never receive it. Everything I got, I purchased it myself with my funds. None of it comes from the government. I know it. And so that's what's going on now.
Thank you for that. Can I get your name and your organization?
My name is Comrade Don, President and Director of the Unified Black Caucus at www.unifiedblackcaucus.com. You can also find us on Facebook, social media at Unified Black Caucus, and on Instagram at Unified Black Caucus. And from there, you can get all our other outlets. Thank you. Thank you.
Excuse me.
Hey, dude, you look at them.
Yeah, that's good. Thanks, man. Take care. Yeah, so there were about 6 or 7 arrests made for standing in the street protesting. Let me take a look at the chat here. Let me see what's going on. If you haven't already hit the like button, please do. We'll see if I could do maybe 1 or 2 more interviews. Not that many people here. Let's see. There, guys, smash the like button. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Do you mind if I ask you a couple questions?
Sure.
Cool. I'm live right now. I saw you're very vocal.
Yeah, we need to be here for that. Yeah.
Tell me your thoughts about that.
Well, I think it's important for people to understand that there's a very decent plan to end and address this homelessness, the overdose crisis, incarceration. And in a pandemic, when most of us are out here messed up, New York State's billionaires got about $87 billion richer in a pandemic. So there's a decent plan. It's 6 bills to tax billionaires on things like transactional financial transactions that they don't pay anything for. Like you and I go to the store and we pay taxes on things that there's none of that. The inheritance tax, capital gains tax, a very decent plan. And Governor Cuomo needs to do that. He needs to pass that. So that's why we're here. And we have nothing. So we're going to be here, and we're going to be here until we get that done.
You know, I think a lot of Americans are just finding out how corrupt Cuomo really is, and you know, things keep popping up, you know, in the media and coming out about him. Can you tell me a little bit? You know, we know he caters to his donors and the wealthy in New York. Can you tell me a little bit about the attacks on the working class and you know, other New Yorkers?
Well, I think what you said about Cuomo is true. I think there has been this well-known idea about him for many years. He's a bully. He obviously doesn't treat his people well. So now we see that he does that, and he's not treated the people of New York State well. You know, there was an explosion of overdose deaths last year in this pandemic. Done nothing to address that. There's clemencies on his desk that he needs to sign for incarcerated people. There's homelessness in this city and this state that has just exploded. You see them everywhere. So what are we going to do about that? How are we going to do that? And it's not just working class people, it's everybody that's affected by that, particularly homeless people and poor people. And Cuomo is a politician. And just because he's a Democratic politician doesn't help us. So we really want to make sure that we get that message out and that we're not going to go away, we're going to be here. Andrea Stewart Cousins has called for his resignation. It's a very powerful statement.
What do you expect to happen? I know he said he wasn't going to resign, but what do you think's going to happen?
Well, he did, but I think that he's on the ropes. He's not in a very good position. So we as poor people and people impacted by all of the things we just named, homelessness, incarceration, overdose, are not going anywhere. We're going to make sure that he is, or that we take advantage of this, him being on the ropes, and the black leadership in the form of Carl Hastie and Andrea Stewart Cousins, particularly as a black person, I'm going to make sure that they are feeling the pressure about what they need to do as black leadership, because the supermajority can't just be a victory for Democrats. The supermajority has to be a benefit for New York State, not politicians, and that includes Hastie and Andrea Stewart Cousins.
If you want to give your name and where you're from?
I'm Kip Isle. Where are you from?
Status Coup.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm Kip Lyle, and our political person is Paulette. She's right there if you want to talk.
Absolutely, thank you.
Okay.
One more person here. I'm from Status Coup. Status Coup is YouTube, independent media.
Oh,
Yeah.
so you put up Status Coup and it come up?
Yeah, you could just type in Status Coup.
Oh.
Would you like to say anything?
Say something?
Yeah, I'm live right now on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Yes, we down here in front of Governor Cuomo's office about taxing the billionaires, you know. It's been too long that the New York City has been through a lot of crisis with the homeless, with the mayor's 200,000 initiative housing plan that didn't work because a lot of these buildings are still empty. And so with this tax, the millionaires, which is about 120 plus in New York City, that it will help with the homeless crisis. It will also help with the overdose. Now, some of the tax that we asking is 6 different bills, which will tax the wealth, high income, the wealth, and also the businesses. And it goes in intricate part where we can tax some of their investments, you know, that's going on. And then we can get $500 million. And with that, we can apply that money to other services that we need in New York State. It's unfair that they paying the same tax amount of people that making $30,000 or $50,000 when they got millions and millions of dollars. It's just unfair. I do boots on the ground every week to service the marginalized community in the Bronx, that people who use drugs. I see them. We need services for the mental health. There's a lot of, we need the MAT, the medical assistant treatment in the prison system. We need programs here. If you really want to talk about this pandemic or epidemic, they talking about the drug law. Personally, I believe you should be able to, because I do the boot on the ground, and our goal is to get people into detox. There's barriers. There should not be in the barrier when people want to go. It's hard for them to say, yes, I'm ready. And when they're ready, they can't get it because they don't have no insurance and they don't have no identification. It should be universal when they're ready to go. That is so hard. It's so hard. So we need to tax the billionaires, the millionaires, to get other services that we need. And my name is Althea Matthews, and I'm not ashamed to fight for the injustice that's going on in New York State. And it's not only New York City. You know, we have too many homeless, and we need to put money into the mentally health, because that overlap is a double barrier. People look at people, maybe because of the low income, they still people. They still people. People need to care for people. They really do. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. What was your name? Thank you very much, Althea. You will. Just type in Status Coup.
Let me take a picture.
Yeah, go ahead.
I might forget it. And what's your name?
John.
John. I had a lot of Johns. Not that John. A lot of Johns. Althea Matthews. Yeah, because I might forget. Not you.
That's all right.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Althea. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna cut out soon. Let me just check the stream here. Yeah, so there's a lot of issues here, I guess. All right, guys, I think we're done here. I'm gonna cut it off. Thank you for tuning in.
Hey, John.
Hey.
Did you interview these nice people?
Not yet. Nope.
I'm
How you
gonna
doing?
do an interview right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you wanna?
Yeah, I'm live. I'm just I'm checking the chats right now. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, let's
I was getting a picture. Is that from? That's from. Really?
I was
Wow.
there.
Excellent. That's incredible.
And I was there in 20 with Al Sharpton.
Oh yeah, just recently, right? Last year I was there. Yeah.
Alright, so let's do this interview and feel free to ask questions.
There you go.
I'm waiting for you.
Oh, you're waiting for me. Is there anything that you would like to touch on that wasn't spoken about because the police came in and?
Yes, as I was saying, my name is Nathan Flowers Adeshagan. I'm a leader with Vocal New York, Voices for Community Activists and Leaders. And the Homeless Union, we founded because I was in a shelter for 5 years. When I lost my rent stability, I had a preferential rent of $475, and when they gave me the new lease, it was $1,319.16, which I could never pay. But that's one of the laws we got changed. When we went to Albany, July 14th, 2 years ago, we got that law changed. If you have a preferential rent, you get to keep it as long as you're living there. And we found out many of the legislators in New York live with a preferential rent. There's another reason for them to be on our side. For there to be a fair rent for everybody is very important. If I've lived in New York, I always say, why don't you go by the voter registration? How long have you voted here? If you voted in this neighborhood 20 years, you have a right to return here. If you voted in this neighborhood for a certain number of time, you need to be able to return to your neighborhood and have an affordable rent that you can pay and not be priced out with this gentrification. And you know why all the stores leave? Because there's no rent control for commercial spaces. The reason I know a lot of this stuff is I worked 20 years on Wall Street with CPAs, certified public accountants. I know how they hide the money. I know about the tax shelters. I know about the carry back, carry forward. I know about the stock transfer tax. 20 cents, not 20 cents, pennies on the dollar. The stock transfer tax is pennies on the dollar. Every stock exchange in the world, except this one, taxes you to do business. In this country, in this state, they're calling it revenue, and what we make as workers, income, and they will not tax it the same. That has to stop. They're making, do you know how much they made during the pandemic so far on Wall Street? $77 billion. They're not having any problems, you know, paying their mortgages, their rent, buying food or anything. The people in the streets are the ones who are suffering. Canada gives each citizen $1,400 a month. If you live in Germany, you can get up to $7,000 a month. I think Italy and France go between $3,000, $4,000. But every country that is civilized is giving people money to live during this crisis. Except over here, they're like, they have no bread? Oh, let them eat cake. They are so crazy. The stock transfer tax, in 1981, they started giving them a 100% rebate. We would have had like $18 billion by now because that tax was in effect. And in 81, the corrupt politicians who were very rich said, let's take this out. Another one, the inheritance tax. Do you recall when Jackie Kennedy's kids were selling her things to pay the inheritance tax? We had an inheritance tax. Those corrupt politicians who were rich gutted that also. They said, we don't want to pay inheritance tax. Capital gains. Oh, we made some money. Capital gains. That's an income tax, a revenue tax. They stripped that out. So we're not getting that money anymore. The pied-à-terre. You have houses around the world. Well, one of them's supposed to be a primary residence. Do you know what 183 days means in your diary? Where did you live 183 days of the year? That makes you a resident. How they determine if you're a resident of New York State, you lived here 183 days of the year and you're taxed to pay income tax. And that's the way it goes. All those other places are called pied-à-terre. It's a place you land sometimes. But you're not paying taxes. Other places make you pay taxes. New Yorkers used to pay taxes. If this was not your primary residence, just a place you come because you can have $1 million house here, there, everywhere, a yacht and everything else, they gave them back that money. That's more corrupt politicians who are rich saying, oh, you can come here. And then they always come back with the threat. Oh, Cuomo, if we tax the rich, they'll leave. When? And if you're leaving, goodbye. We'd be glad to get rid of somebody like Bezos who doesn't pay taxes. Why we fought so hard against Amazon. They don't want a $15, did you see they just refused to pass $15 an hour minimum wage? They're millionaires. And they're telling the people, once again, you have no bread, eat some cake. This is so wrong on so many levels, and this is why we stand and this is why we fight, because we know we're right and they're wrong, and it has to stop. You have to stop taking the people's money and giving it to the rich. They made $77 billion during the pandemic. And what did the government give them in the last relief package? $55 billion went to corporations, big pharma, oil companies, people who don't need our money. And they refuse to turn the lens, walk a mile in my shoes with my moccasins and see what I have to go through. Because I have Social Security. We want those senators and representatives to get Social Security when they leave office. Stop getting those six-figure pensions that we pay for. Why are we paying them pensions? Because they were in the House of Representatives for 2 years. It doesn't matter if you're there 2 years or 20 years, you get the same pension. Where does that make sense? So the whole point is, we know how to add, we know how to count. We're counting ourselves and we're asking everybody to join with us. Join with us and say, you ultra-rich, you rich, need to pay your fair share of taxes. And trust me, when the tax rate gets up to $300,000, you're only going to pay $600 more. They're so scaring people. Like, you're going to, all of a sudden, you're going to be rich. You're going to go from $50,000 to $300,000? I don't think so. Because there's no jobs, there's no work pretty much of the pandemic. But the point being, they use these scare tactics that when you're rich, you're going to have to pay a lot of money. No, you're not. We want you to pay your fair share. We have radical millionaires who stand with us who say, I want to pay more. I want to pay more taxes. The government won't let me. The government won't let me. If I report 10 million or if I report 5 million, I'm taxed the same. That makes no sense. He makes 50,000, I make 10,000. We're not taxed the same. We want this to stop. We want them to stop being irrational, be fair, let everybody pay their fair share, and then everybody can benefit equally. We will have enough to house the homeless. We will have enough to have mental health centers in every neighborhood. We need it. We need it. When cops closed those mental health centers and put people in the street, some people were left at bus stops in pajamas. It was like the most horrendous thing that was ever done. And this city has not recovered yet. I'm never surprised to see people talking to themselves or acting out on the street because there's no place to take them. If I find you and you're in distress, where do I take you to? 9 out of 10 times you're criminalized for your mental illness. They call a cop because you're talking, you're walking, you're ranting, you're raving. The next thing you know, you're in jail because you're sick. A family calls someone and says, oh, my son is off his meds. The first mental health emergency unit, EMS, is going into effect this spring in Harlem. We've been asking for this for years. We've been asking for this for years because cops are not trained to respond to sick persons. All they know how to do is brutalize you, throw you on the ground, handcuff you, beat you up and or choke you to death because they can't control you. And the point is, we don't want them controlled. We want them helped. If you have the mental health sickness, you need to be helped. If you have a use abuse system, you need to be helped. You need a place to go to share your drugs, to have clean drugs. Stop this overdose death. England doesn't have this problem. You get your heroin from the governments at a very little low price because they want you to go to work. They want you to pay your taxes. They want you to be a good citizen. Just because you're a user doesn't make you a criminal. And we have to get people to understand this, that drug use is a personal choice, as in England and other countries, and help people do it safely, stay in their homes, raise their children, live their lives. You are helping us stop living. And we've had enough. We've had enough. Like I said, if he has to go, if he has to go because he's being impeached, so long, Governor Cuomo, because you've been acting like a Republican all this time, and we've had enough. People used to say, well, where were the socialists when everything happened? And the Democrats, we Democrats, were the socialists. We made Medicare, we made Social Security, we made Medicare, Medicaid, and AKA, Affordable Care Act. The Democrats were the socialists, are the socialists, who look out for the people. That's why we say the people united can never be defeated. And this is our time and our chance, and we're never going to let them go back again and hurt thousands of people across the state. We have an upstate, downstate coalition. We join together and we say, united we stand, and we're never going to let you break us apart again because you're wrong and we're right. That's why we fight. We're right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
This is Milton, who's been homeless more than 5 years.
Yeah, I was going to ask. You, like, how has Governor Cuomo personally affected your life? But I have to go over here.
What I'd like to say is to invite those listening to.
Wait. And say your name. When you start, you can put on your mask so we see you better. Yeah.
Let me know. Okay, my name is Milton Perez. I'm a vocal member. For about a year now. I've been in the shelter system for about 5 years, and all I like to say at the moment is those of you who want to support Vocal New York to whatever social media you're comfortable with, you want to support Vocal New York and the type of work that is being done by Vocal New York as far as giving voice or helping the voiceless speak for themselves to those empowered to, engage with us. We're here to share alike. We're all in this together at the end of the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, I'm gonna. I guess I still have an audience. Let me cut this off. Thank you very much, all. I'll see you at the next one.
All right.
So I'll be right here.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, Nick. I'll see you at the next one, man. Let me know. All right, guys. So I'm gonna cut this off here. Just a reminder: if you're not a Status Coup member, please sign up. It's only $5 a month. Go to statuscoup.com/join. Let me take a look here. Yep. All right, guys. Like I said, become a member. statuscoup.com/join. This helps fund my reporting and for me to be out here and covering, things that are not covered by the mainstream media. So if you want to support independent journalism, become a member. There's actually something going on over here. Let me, there's another rally on the corner here. Hold on, guys. I'm not gonna cut off yet. I want to see what this is about. I see a lot of flags. I'm not sure what flag that is. But it looks like they're marching. looks like it says Tibetan National Uprising, 62nd anniversary, looks like. This is actually let's see if I can get over there. There's actually a really large protest. A lot of people.
China life, people die! People die! China life, people die! Long live! Long live! Back up! Back up! Back up! Back up! China life, people die! China life, people die! People die!
China, China, China! China, China, China! One people!
China stand! China stand! Stop the genocide in Tibet! Stop the genocide!
All right, guys, I'm gonna head back. I gotta charge up my gear and yep. All right. So again, statuscoup.com/join. $5 a month. You'll be supporting independent journalism, and you'll be helping me. You'll be funding me to reporting.